Hey, Cubs fans, and welcome to our first game recap here at Cubs on Tap. It is opening day. Unfortunately, we are not talking about a Cubs win. The Cubs dropped the season opener today to the Pirates by a final score of 5-3. I am Ron Luce, and I am joined today by Cody Delmendo. Cody, hit it with me, man. How you feeling?
All right, Ron. Do you want the like skies falling brand Cody, or do you want like Cubs on Tap, like level-headed Cody? Like which one do you want?
I don't know. Give me a little bit of each today. Like I'm cool with the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of Cody coming out today. Where like you're like cool, calm, and collected for a second, and then all of a sudden just that spike of like the sky is falling. I'm here for that. I'm here for that,
Bro, like I only asked that because like, and it's so Cubs Twitter. We talked about in the last pod we did a couple days ago, like that we were live on, like Cubs Twitter, man. Like we're 5 innings in and people think the season's over. I saw a fucking tweet from some guy. He's just like, I'm fucking done with this. Oh, the Cubs are back. Chris Bryant can't hit. Everything, like this team hasn't changed one bit. And at the time when he tweeted that, Chris Bryant had 2 at-bats, one of them where he walked.
True.
Didn't get a hit on the first one. I know, like, I think he struck out. I think he went 0 for 2, 0 for 3. I mean, no one hit today for the Cubs. No one hit. The lone positive from the Cubs today was, like, as far as the offense, was that they were able to manufacture runs when they had guys on third base and less than 2 outs. People bitch about that every fucking day of the summer during Cubs games, man, about how they couldn't do that for, like, I feel like literally even when the Cubs were good, people would bitch about that. So, like, I don't know. I mean, for his opening day, man, like today, I mean, losing the Pirates, it sucks, whatever, because the Pirates are trash and the Cubs should, even with the roster they have, they should easily beat the Pirates. But cold weather, I know I don't like to give excuses, but it was like, I think 36 degrees, but felt like 20. I mean, I've been to April games, bro. They suck. There's a reason I got tickets for $25, man. There's a reason. All right. Yeah. But I'm not gonna jump to conclusions or anything like that. Like, I think there were some positives from this game that you can take, but far and away, the big thing that stuck out today was the offense. Couldn't get any hits. They had like 2 hits. One was Anthony Rizzo, one was Eric Sogar, and then their pitching on top of Kyle Hendricks had walked 11 guys today, and that was just like versions of like 2018 Cubs where they just walked a ton of people, and you just can't have that. It doesn't matter what team you play. These are major leagues. I know we talk about how the Pirates are like trash and like they're basically running out of AAA team out there. It doesn't matter. If you walk people, that opens up ways to lose. That is just the fact of the matter. So, like I said, it's opening day. If this game would have happened in like mid-May, mid-June, we would have like we'd probably literally only talk about it for like 5 minutes, and then we probably bitch about whatever's going on Cubs Twitter, or like if there's trade rumors or some shit like that. Right. This game literally means nothing. But the reason that people are freaking out is because it's opening day, fans back in the stands, all that good stuff. And that's great. I'm glad that people give a shit. It's like calm down. Like, it was one game, man. Just one game.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way to put it, right? You mentioned it. 2 hits for the Cubs offense today. Unfortunately, 13 strikeouts by Cubs hitters today. So not a good day at the plate for anybody. As you did mention, though, they were able to manufacture runs. You know, all 3 runs came via sac flies. You at least got to feel good about that, because I feel like that's something, like you said, Cody, in the past that people would have been upset about. It's like, oh, you got to get that guy in from third. Well, they did. They did get the guy in from third. Unfortunately, they just didn't have enough offense to supplement that to get more than those 3 runs. And just quickly, we'll run down what happened in this one. We'll make it very brief. I mean, early in the game, that's what put the bad taste in people's mouth. Brian Hayes, homers, first of the season for him. That ball was well hit too, because the wind was blowing in today, and he got all that one. Frazier scored because of the walk to lead off the game. Obviously, Cubs come back. Jock Peterson with the bases loaded, sac fly. That makes it 2-1. And then in the second, Adam Frazier, he singles Gregory Polanco scores on the play. Chad Kuhl advances on the play. We talked about it. Kyle was not Kyle, and I know we're going to dive into that a little more too as this episode rolls on. And we mentioned it. Anthony Rizzo, Extend Rizzo, was in full force today on Twitter because, again, they manufacture another run. He's a big part of that. That cuts it the score to 3-2, but then the Pirates start to pull away. Jacob Stallings doubled in the top of the fifth. That scored Colin Moran, and Kevin Newman advanced to third. And then in the top of the seventh, a double again from Adam Frazier. He had a nice day for himself. That ultimately scores Anthony Alford and gives the Pirates a 5-2 lead. And then Wilson Contreras late in the game with Sogard on third is able to drive in a sac fly. So just kind of quickly, Cody, building off of what you said as well. I really like the manufacturing runs, and I feel like they did it kind of in a gritty way today. I think, if we're going to take a silver lining, I know silver linings for some people are like, oh, fuck silver linings. Well, if we're taking a silver lining from today, Anthony Rizzo, doubled. And a big reason why Wilson Contreras ends up scoring ultimately on that Jock sac fly is because of his base running, which was great to see. Loved seeing Willie show off his athleticism. Anthony doing Anthony things, gets an RBI today, gets a hit, hashtag extend Rizzo, like I said, full force. I think we're both in agreement with that as well. And, it just unfortunately the pitching wasn't there today too. The bats didn't show up, but they still managed 3 runs on just 2 hits. Like that in itself has to be, given something. And I also agree with you about Chris Bryant. I'm glad you brought that up way in the beginning because, that first at bat, that walk is impressive. He was down 0-2 in that count. He worked it all the way back to take the walk. I mean, that's a hard thing to do as a hitter. I don't care who you are, let alone, a superstar in this game, so it's good to see Chris do that. So there are positives. I agree. I think the cold weather just messed with Kyle today too, man.
For sure. I think the cold weather plays a big part in this game, at least, because these guys have been in Arizona. And then you have to also add in the fact that they honestly haven't played in cold weather in over 2 years because they didn't start the year until July. And they start they went to spring training in March last year. Yep. Then the season was canceled. Didn't play in any cold weather. They start the season in July. And then we got what we got. Now, the offense was shit last year anyway. But again, 2020,
take it for what it is. Yeah.
Take it for what it is. A lot of guys struggled last year that you're not, and I'm not talking about in the Cubs. I'm talking about around the league. A lot of guys struggled. So, and again, this is one game, but I do think that the cold weather was a big factor today just because no one was used to it. They hadn't played in cold weather since April 2019. So, I don't know, man. I think that the people who are I just think a lot of Cubs Twitter is super soft. You're all soft. You're listening, you're soft. Watching, whatever, you're soft. SAWFT. Soft.
You get the misspelled version of it too.
Yeah, this is why I love baseball. This is why I love baseball. You sign up for 162. It's the longest grinding season of all professional sports. You play every day. You ride emotions every single day. Yeah. You ride or you die. That is what you sign up for if you're a baseball fan. Get over it if we lost today because we get to enjoy an off day tomorrow and then watch fucking Jake Arrieta come back on Saturday. And if the Cubs win, all those motherfuckers will be saying the exact opposite of what they're saying today. It's the most annoying thing about the internet, and I wish sometimes I didn't sit on it. But, here we are. I fucking live on the internet.
Well, in fairness, Cody, and this is something I think we can all agree that'll be interesting is that, last year, I think people had to refocus themselves, right? I think over the course of a normal baseball season, like you said, is 162. One game in April is not going to kill you. Yes, you want to obviously win as many games as possible. That's obviously the point of the game, but you benefit from the length of the schedule, being able to start, 2-5, but can still make the play. Look at the Washington Nationals in 2019 when they won the World Series. They were awful in the first half of the season, and they worked their way back in. They got in, and they got hot. So, but I think people got so conditioned last year because of the 60 games and every game truly mattered. Right. I think people got to settle back in a little bit again and go.
And believe me, I'm about as pessimistic about this Cubs team as I've ever been in my entire life. I've always tried to be as optimistic as humanly possible when it comes to the Cubs because they're like my first love.
Mhm.
But this year, like I know I've said that I think the Cubs will be competitive, and I know that they'll be this and they'll be that. But I've also said that they're gonna need a lot of things to go right for them to even have a chance to make the playoffs. So I think it's okay to have a little bit of both. I'm just pointing out the people who are just like already like off the ship. And if you're off the ship, go to the fucking South Side and watch the White Sox. I don't give a shit where you fucking go, honestly, because I'm just so fucking tired of it. I really fucking am, dude. Like, just fucking you. Like I said, you sign up for 162, and you either ride or you've fucking die or get the fuck out. That's what it fucking is, man. Like, that's just how it is. That's baseball season, and you can't win every single game. Like today on my Facebook, I said, the biggest thing that happened during the Cubs offseason was Yadier Molina blocking me on Instagram. So I'm signing myself up for 85 days of pain. Like, essentially, like possibly. Like, I could see the Cubs losing 80 some games if things don't go right. Like, but on the other end, like, I think that if some of these guys, turn it around, like Chris Bryant comeback season, Javier Baez comeback season, then yeah, I think we could win 85. But I don't know what's going to happen. So like I said, I think I am pessimistic about this season. Again, it's just, this is opening day. Like, calm down. Now, if things are going like this by the end of April, if we go like, I don't know, 10-15, or was it 10-17? I think that's a month's worth of games. Like, we go like 10-17 in April or something like that. And yeah, I'll probably be on the same line as those people. But at least give it a month, man. Like, I keep bitching about the same shit. So I'm sorry, Ron. I want to give you some time to talk. I just get so tired of people who just like can't stop. Just slow your roll for 1 second, man. Like, don't react tweet. If you're one of those people, put your phone down, like, chill, calm down. It's going to be okay. I was just happy to see fans back at Wrigley Field today. To be honest, that was like the biggest thing for me.
That was lovely. That was weird being able to look behind the batter and actually see fans sitting there instead of just empty seats that we always joked were, dressed as or fans dressed as empty seats, and then them laying down and hiding on the bleachers in the outfield. So that, I agree, that was nice to see today. Worth mentioning too, the Cubs did host fully vaccinated healthcare workers and the bleachers today, which is awesome. So that was super cool. But going back, and we've actually been getting a couple good comments, and from our boy Marty Laval.
Yeah, I think this is a good one.
That is a good one. It is very brutal to ride that high of opening day. And
you want to read it? You want to read it for the people who are going to listen to this?
Yes, later? Yes. So the comment is: can we all agree the off day after the high of opening day is the worst? Absolutely, it is the worst, because you're like, just get me back out there. Like, because that's the beauty of baseball, right? Like, we just talked about it. It's 162, but you play every day. So if you lose on a day, oh well, shit happens. You put it behind you. You go out there the next day. Well, when you're riding the high of, that first game of the season, unfortunately, then you have to sit back and kind of wallow in it for a day before you can, keep moving forward.
Right. And maybe that's why people get so bent out of shape on a day like today, because they know their off days coming tomorrow. So they got to deal with, like, if there's a loss, they got to deal with 48 hours of pain. I don't know. Like, I honestly wish the Cubs got to go back out and play tomorrow. That way we could get this loss off our backs and, move forward. But in a positive scene of it, we use the bullpen a ton today. So they get an off day tomorrow. They'll be ready to go on Saturday. And hopefully with Arrieta pitching, you don't have to use the bullpen that much. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, and another comment that is good to bring up here from Marty in our comments, because actually this is one I did want to talk about. So the comment is, long time listener. Thank you, Marty.
Thanks, Marty.
You, buddy. You'll be on it at some point soon, kiddo. Thoughts on using Alec Mills in a 1-inning situation instead of earlier? I think that is a very interesting point, because when Kyle doesn't have it for the day, obviously he only goes 3 innings today. Granted, Chad Kuhl also did not pitch very deep into this game either. But when you have a guy like Alec Mills sitting in your bullpen that can go multiple innings like that, why wouldn't you bring him in? I think that's a perfect opportunity to let him go 3 innings. But I think maybe, and Marty, maybe this answers your question. Cody, maybe you agree. I think with the off day tomorrow, I think that's why Ross didn't care. I think if it's a normal situation, like if the Cubs are playing tomorrow and Jake's taking the mound tomorrow, absolutely. I think Mills comes in, he pitches 3, and then you only have to use maybe 1 or 2, 1, 2, maybe 3 guys at most then for the 7th, 7th, 8th, 9th innings then. Whereas, when you got the off day coming up, guys are going to get that extra day of rest, which is beneficial. And, I think it's good to see kind of what you were going to get from some of these guys too, because he used a lot of guys that admittedly, we're maybe not entirely certain of what we're going to get out of them. Workman is a brand new addition. Brothers is rebounding after having a lot of injury issues and not being able to stick in the majors for a few seasons. Adam, I think he had a great 2020, but they wanted to see what happened. And Cody, I believe it was you that tweeted from the Cubs on TapCon today. Like that's an appearance he wishes to forget for sure. But then it was nice to see guys like Winkler, Chafin, Tepera, get work as well. And then obviously Mills still got a little bit of work today. So I don't hate what Ross did. I think literally the only reason we don't see Mills, because I think Marty brought up a great point. The only reason we don't see Mills go multiple is because they are off tomorrow.
Yeah. Outside of the walks, I didn't think anyone in the bullpen was bad today. Given the start that Kyle Hendricks had, I don't think they were bad, at least. What hurts the most is just the offense. You allowing 5 runs, you're not always going to win those games, but with the Pirates bullpen not really, this is a team that's not good at baseball. Like, to see the Cubs offense not do anything against that, again, it is disheartening. But again, also it's just one game. So I'm going to leave it up for the rest of the series to play out for me to really react to it. But I agree. Yeah. The guys in the bullpen, they didn't even get they had a couple days off because they played their last spring training game on Tuesday or Monday. So, Tuesday, Wednesday, off days, flying back or flying to Chicago from Arizona, a couple practices at Wrigley, whatever. I don't know. They were okay. I just think if they clean up the walks, the bullpen for sure can be the Cubs' biggest strength. And we've seen teams with really good bullpens, really thrive over the last couple years. And that's one of the reasons why I think the Cubs can at least be competitive in this division, in September. But there's still so much to play and see what happens. My biggest thing for sure, though, is, getting the walks down and then figuring out how to hit again.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I agree with you, right? Like, I think we saw the bullpen, like what it can be in 2020. I really do. I think, yes, everybody, well, you guys are saying that 2020 is what it is. Sure. But like, to me, pitching is different. Yes, maybe over the course of a length of a season, it would be a different outcome. Maybe the bullpen isn't as strong for as long, but you see the potential, at least with the bullpen. And they added a lot of new arms to this year. You have guys like Workman that's here and Brothers that's here. Chafin came over last year late at the trade deadline. The best mustache. I know he's your spirit animal. I think he might be a Cubs on Tap spirit animal just in general.
I fucking love Andrew Chafin. It has nothing to do with his action. That has nothing to do with him pitching or anything. No. He just looks like a guy that I'd sit at the bar with and have like 1 or a million Miller Lights with. Like that's the kind of guy that I'd hang out with.
He's the guy that is still like 12 to 15 beers deep. And everybody's going to know this 1 or 2 dudes that you see at the bar. They're so drunk though, but they are absolutely on point with everything they're saying. And you were just like, how are you that sharp right now after you drink that many beers? That to me is Andrew Chafin. Like, he's the guy that's like, he's already halfway through a 30 rack and he's still like, I could tell you a story back from my 3rd high school game when I struck out Joe Blow with a 2-seam fastball, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, why are you so sharp, bro? Like, professional drinker. Andrew Chafin, we love him. He's definitely a cool and tough Cub in that aspect. But, something else too, Cody, that I wanted to bring up as well that you mentioned was, we talked about it at length and probably at nauseum this offseason that our biggest concern was going to be the rotation. And admittedly, we said that really outside of Kyle. Kyle had a bad day. It happens. He's human. we've seen it. We saw it in 2020. He struggled sometimes on the road and things like that too. So,
right. Well, I know opening day last year is great, but and even 12 starts. So last year it was different.
Mm-hmm.
But in previous years, we've seen Kyle kind of struggle in April and find his groove in May. More often than not, he's kind of the pitching version of Anthony Rizzo, I guess you could say.
Kind of, yeah.
And I'm not saying he struggled was bad. And today, I don't even know if he was really bad. I mean, his fastball velocity was down. He couldn't really locate it. And that's why he walked a handful of guys, something that's not normal. He's one of the best, he has one of the best walk rates in baseball last year. Like him and Yu Darvish were top 2 in walk rate last year. So again, today, I think it also goes back to the weather for him for sure. But also, I just want to point out in previous years where the season started in April, Kyle Hendricks hasn't been as sharp to start the year. And I don't know if it has to do with the weather or, mechanics or whatever, but he always figures it out come May, June, July, August, as the season progresses. So again, disappointing on opening day, blah, 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 blah. But he's going to be okay. He's the one constant. He's the one guy that we're always going to be able to be that's the guy you want in any game. You need to win one game. That's the guy you want.
Absolutely.
If he could pitch on Saturday, and it wouldn't deter him in the future, I would say, let's go with him. I would. So
let him go trot back out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I mean, in fairness too, you bring up a good point, right, with the weather with Kyle, because like you said, in 2020, his opening day start was the end of July. It was 85 degrees. I mean, we were able to be together that day, watch the game. It was awesome. And, it was beautiful outside. It was a perfect July day. It was an evening game too. So it was a little cooler, and I think too that had a lot of people really stoked for Kyle Hendricks opening day because they were like, "Look what he did last year." And then it's oh, and I think that leads to maybe some of the disappointment too, right? Because everybody had that gem he threw in their mind from last season against the Brewers coming into today's game. So when the Cabrian Hayes ball left the ballpark, I was like, "Oh shit! Well, we're not getting another one of those today, folks." I just buckled down and got ready for it.
I was just hoping that maybe after the Cabrian Hayes home run that he would settle down, because we've seen it time and time again that maybe he'll struggle in the first inning, but then he figures it out. He finds that command after something like that.
Right.
And he just struggled in those 3 innings. He walked, I think he walked the leadoff hitter in both the first and second, I'm pretty sure. Obviously in the first he did, but I can't remember if he did it in the second. I know he walked a guy in 3 straight innings at least. And I don't think he's ever done that in his career. I know Jesse Rogers tweeted something out saying that something similar to that. But he's the one guy that you don't have to worry about. He's like I said, he's the Anthony Rizzo of the pitching staff. You don't have to worry about him. He's gonna, at the end of the year, you're gonna see the numbers and be like, oh, that's Kyle Hendricks.
Yeah. So, absolutely. And I think he'll get back to that. I really do. I mean, his next start next week is going to be beautiful weather here in Chicago. So it's supposed to be absolutely gorgeous all of next week. I think high 70s, 60s is the worst day of the week. So, I mean, he might very well rebound. I think his next starts, it should be against Milwaukee. So maybe he rekindles that success of last year in opening day and just shoves against Milwaukee, and reminds people, hey, look, my bad. I wasn't good on opening day, but I'll get back there. And I agree. We've all seen it time and time again. He'll have a bad start. It happens. He's probably the one guy that you can count on to rebound and say, okay, we all know what we're getting with Kyle Hendricks. He's going to rebound. He'll get back there. Don't stress about it, because if any guy can rebound after a bad start, to me, it is Kyle. So it's something that I think a lot of people need to keep in mind. But Cody, I'll, maybe I think, we can wash the sorrows away tonight, maybe with a few Miller Lights or Bud Lights or whatever your drink of choice is. We have an off day tomorrow, and then we can talk a little bit about Saturday's game. But I'll let you, final thoughts of opening day.
Well, like I kind of said, it was great to see fans back. There was a few innings in there. I think it was when the Pirates are at bat and they had a couple guys on, and you could hear there's so little fans in the stands because of the capacity allowed, that you could hear some of them yelling, or heckling at the players, which was awesome. As much as it was pain because they're yelling at the Cubs players for not being good.
Mhm.
It was just nice that it was just like there was actual crowd noise on top of like the action on the field.
Yeah.
Good to just see what's going on at Wrigley, seeing people there, people with their signs. Like, I don't know, like I think that's the biggest thing we should take from opening day, honestly, is just the fact that fans were back. It was like the little bit of normalcy that we had been craving for like over a year, man.
Mhm.
Right? Yeah, basically over a year. So I don't know. Again, there's things to improve on. There's things to, be worried about for sure. But we'll get them on Saturday. I'm excited to see what Jake has to offer. They kept pushing, he's looked really great in spring, and that's why he's the number 2 starter. So, like, let's fucking ride, man. Like, he's a guy that, is in lure with Cubs history forever. And I just hope that he continues it. And, let's get a bounce back win. Like, I think the biggest thing for Saturday is just like get the bats going. That way it takes some pressure off the pitching. And, let's like I shouldn't be worried about hitting against the Pittsburgh Pirates, bro. I shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. That's hopefully something they'll clean up. I agree with you. I agree, right? It was just nice seeing fans back in the stands. It was nice seeing Boog and JD talk about a nice catch being made by a fan on a foul ball and like things that we didn't have in 2020, and
Right.
I mean we haven't had since the end of 2019. I mean,
Right.
most people, unless you were fortunate enough to go to a game on the rooftops last season. Most people haven't been to a game since probably fall of 2019. So to see fans back in the stands, things looking normal again, or at least somewhat normal again, that little sense of normalcy that people are craving is certainly a good thing for the Cubbies. So
before you bring up a good point with Boog and JD, how like I know we've had spring training, but like now it's real. People really pay attention. How did you think they did in their first regular season game?
I love Boog and JD.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Boog during spring training. So I was fortunate enough. I pretty much exclusively work out of my home now. So I was able to listen to Boog quite a bit. I hated those 3:00 starts though, because I get really busy at 3:00. So like I would only catch bits and pieces of most games, but I like Boog. I really do. I'm a big fan of his.
I do.
I think they have good chemistry already. Like I think they very quickly were able to figure each other out a little bit and know what each other it kind of does and doesn't do and this, that, and the other. And I think they did a nice job. I think it was very seamless. It didn't really feel rushed or like forced, I think was the better word I'm looking for.
I'll say this. I agree with everything you said, but also thank God they got rid of the suits, bro. They got rid of the suits.
Oh my God.
Fucking God. And Marquis put out a video like saying that they're losing the suits like a day or two ago. So like they heard us and they listened. So I know Marquis has a lot of things we could sit here and bitch about for another half hour. But I think that they are figuring it out.
Yeah.
A lot of people bitching today about not being able to stream it because they didn't realize that Marquis is not on Hulu anymore. And that was literally announced in October. That sucks. Again, though, that's on you for not figuring it out because they literally announced it in October that they're coming off there. So that's all. I'm sorry, but I think that's on you for not like doing that. Now, that said, though, the Cubs should make it possible to get Marquee in any freaking, streaming platform wherever. It is what it is. Again, I could go on. We could rant about this for another 30 minutes, bro. But I do think that there is some leeway here. If you didn't, you can't watch. Well, did you not put Marquee on your television? Fucking during spring training, did you not put Marquee on your television over the offseason when I don't know, you college basketball fan? Like I don't know. I have my TV on Marquee before today. You know what I mean? So. Again, that just kind of goes back to just like, are we all really that stupid?
Well, I do feel like in fairness, though, like I remember when it was announced back in October, it was very under the radar. They were like, oh, hey, we're not going to be on Hulu anymore, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, wait a minute, weren't they the first ones that you finally got a deal done with? And then they were already pulling the plug on it. Like, what the hell happened? So, but there was the announcement, I believe it's Fubo TV or Fobo TV.
Fubu, I thought. FEBU. Yeah.
They're getting they'll have marquee, they said, in like the next like week or so. That one's kind of still getting up and going, but if you're lucky enough, or I shouldn't say lucky enough, but if you've made the choice to have Xfinity, channel 202 in the Chicagoland market is marquee sports, and it's I know you and I were both happy to be able to watch the game today. So Cody, let's transition. Let's put this one in the rearview mirror. It's a loss, whatever. They'll come back. Kyle will be fine. Hopefully the bats get figured out, because on Saturday, as we mentioned, the Cubs are taking the field again. I am super pumped because I actually get to go. Birthday present from one of my buddies of mine. So very, very excited about that. But
where you'll be posting on our new Instagram story, Cubbies on Tap. Go follow us on fucking Instagram. We don't have very many followers. Go follow us on Instagram at Cubbies on Tap. And follow Ron along as he goes back to Wrigley, because it's going to be great, and he's probably going to be shoving at least 10 hot dogs into his system.
Oh, I don't know about 10. But I'll at least have one for the ambiance of being back at Wrigley. I will say though, there may be some Instagram content of me shedding happy tears as I walk into the ballpark.
There you go. I like it.
It might happen though. So if you want to see that happen,
I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you. So if you want to see that happen, you want to see a grown man cry like myself, Cubbies on Tap on Instagram. It's the same as our Twitter handle at Cubbies on Tap. We actually just debuted a new logo today. We're working on getting our StreamYard up and updated as well, but we're super excited about that. So things are moving here, man. But on Saturday, the Pittsburgh Pirates, it is a 1:20 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Excuse me. We're now in daylight savings time. Central Daylight Time start. As we mentioned, the Pirates now 1-0 will be trotting out left-hander Tyler Anderson, and the Cubs will be trotting out Jake the Snake. I'm very excited. I've actually never seen Jake pitch live, so that'll actually be my first time getting to see him pitch in person. If you are watching the Chicagoland market, it will be on Marquee Sports Network, and if you are listening, it will be on WSCR. Holy crap, those radio acronyms are brutal. Yes, 670 The Score.
There you go,
as well as WRTO, I believe, which is like AM 1000 or something like that. I believe it's also on there. And then if you're in Pittsburgh's market, if you're listening to this, it'll be on AT&T Pittsburgh, and then KDKA radio out there. So not much really on the preview right now. Normally in these previews, we at least have a decent understanding, or we have numbers about a opposing pitcher as the season moves on, or a lineup we can discuss. I mean, really, I would just say in terms of lineups, I would expect the exact same lineup from both teams, because the Cubs did some good with their lineup, and this was their lineup that, I mean, it's their best 9 that they want to trot out there every day. As of now, I would argue Nico being in that lineup probably makes it truly the best 9, but it is what it is.
Eric Sogar had a nice double today. Maybe they'll switch him in. And I mean, I think David Bodie played okay. Had some nice defensive plays. Like, again, it's one game, so we don't know. But I wouldn't be mad if Eric Sogar gets in there. I know he's a lefty. I don't know if Anderson's a lefty.
Anderson's a lefty.
He is a lefty.
Yep.
Well, then probably Bodie. I don't know what Sogar's numbers are against left-handed pitching, but I doubt they're going to want to do that. So I would expect Bodie back in there. I don't know, man. I any other players like I don't. Maybe Matt Duffy gets in there. We didn't really talk about it, but if there's one position player that I could bitch about today is Javier Baez, only because he really just looked exactly like 2020 today. Yeah. That was it. Like, he was the only, like, if there's anyone who deserved to be bitched about today, it was Javier Baez. Comes up late innings. I think it was the 8th or 9th inning. The Cubs, it was the 9th inning. The tying run at the plate. Javier Baez comes over there, takes 2 fastballs, not even sliders, 2 fastballs on the outside edge. Literally the same spot. I understand not swinging the first one. The second one, he goes down looking. And it's like, this guy swings at everything, but you didn't swing at that. I don't understand. We talked about how, in-game adjustments and stuff like that. From last year, you didn't get that. Well, they're letting people, get video back for this year. Where are the in-game adjustments from this game? Like, again, one game, not going to completely bitch about it. But if there is one guy that I think deserves a little criticism from today, I think it is Javier Baez. So Figure it out, Javi.
That's fair. That's fair. One part, there is a comment. I think it's pretty good. It's from another on-tap friend of ours, Mr. Alap. Does Jock start on Saturday versus left-handed pitching? I think that's a good question. I say yes. I mean, they said they were going to give him every opportunity to start, even against lefties. I mean, he didn't look that terrible against lefties in spring training. So maybe, perhaps, we get to see him. Oh, look at who decided to join us. What's
Joe
up,
has joined
sir?
us.
What is up, boys? How we doing? I know we lost 5-3, and I know it sucks, but you know what? 161-1 is still fucking possible.
I agree, Joe. I agree, man.
Absolutely. It's totally possible.
I hope you had a good day
Why
watching
can't I
the
see your
games.
face,
It was just
Ron? Are
good
you
to see you.
hiding?
I'm sorry?
Is it my shit's messed up? I can't see Ron's face. Where's
I think
Ron's
that's
face?
your shit, man. I think that's your shit, man. I love how your name says
My
Red
bad.
Mamba.
Cody, good to see you. Well, you know, I gotta
Good to
let
see you,
people know.
Joe.
What's the big thing people do?
Yeah.
If you know, you know, right?
If you
I
know,
probably
you
shouldn't
know.
be
Yeah.
because I've been
You know.
drinking heavily. I've been drinking too much to jump in. I'm sorry.
Crack 'em.
I got excited. I saw you guys were live on Twitter, and I'm like, I want to say hi to these guys. It's opening day. It's Christmas. We lost, but that's okay. The Dodgers are losing right now. Do you think Dodger fans are freaking out? They're probably not. Everyone needs to fucking relax. There was a time in this day and age where when you lost a game 5-3, you just lost a game. It wasn't some symbolic thing. It wasn't something that meant your mom and dad didn't love you anymore. You just fucking lost the game. All right? We'll get back out there on Saturday. Jake Arrieta, then fucking Zach Davies, and then we got some rolling. It was cold. It was fucking cold. The Pirates got lucky. And look, we sacrificed flies. I know we want doubles with runners on third, but a sac fly shows we're making contact with a runner on third, which we didn't do last year. So I'm happy to see it, you know?
That's what we
Absolutely.
talked about. What we talked about at the beginning of the show, man. So, yeah.
You guys talk about Ron's sexy beard? You guys talk about that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But we also talked about how he wishes he had a stash like Andrew Chafin, but, you know, it's just going to take him forever to get to that kind of level.
You know what? Cubs on Tap needs merchandise, and if we're not kicking it off with some sort of Andrew Chafin or Chafin, I don't even know his name. If we don't kick it off with some kind of celebration of that mustache, we're failing. We're failing ourselves.
I agree. I think we need an Andrew Chafin mustache T-shirt here at On Tap Sportsnet.
By the way,
Without
I'm
a
my
doubt.
ear into my camera just so I can hear you guys. All right, I'll let you guys go. Go back to being real analysts and don't let my drunk ass fucking yell shit into the phone.
All right, Joe. It was good to see you,
We're
bro.
glad you joined us, sir. Take
Love
it
you guys.
easy, man.
Bye.
See ya, but
He's the best.
Yeah.
What a perfect
I forgot I put it in the
surprise.
Slacks. I forgot I put it in the Slack, so it like quite literally anyone that's in
Yeah.
that Slack channel could just jump in. So
It's just like, hey, let's do it. I love it. I
Yeah,
love that
yeah.
Joe's in the spirit of opening day. And
yep.
I mean, Cody, I think we've done a good job previewing this thing, right? I think we know what we're expecting on Saturday. So before we close this thing down, I'm going to turn it back over to you for a Fly the W player of the game pick. So for people that might be new to the show, very quickly, we like to do a Fly the W player. If you listen to any other of our On Tap Sportsnet shows, try saying that 10 times fast. You will know we like to pick a player of the game for the next game when we finish previewing. Here at Cubs on Tap, that is the Fly the W player. So Cody, who is your selection for Saturday?
Dude, you're gonna have to get to a point where you stop asking me because it's Andrew fucking Chafin every game. Andrew fucking Chafin. I don't care. I love that guy. We're going Andrew Chafin, 162 Fly W player pick. He's gonna do something in some game that's gonna earn him a point. I don't care that I'm gonna lose, that I'm gonna finish last in points. I just want him as my Fly W player pick.
Realistically, he's gonna have like maybe a few games this year where like maybe he comes in to close a game or something, like strikes out the side, and I'll be like, well, shit, I have to give Cody a point for that because that's just it's got to be done. What happened? Better question. What happens if he shaves his mustache? Is he still your Fly the W player every single game?
I might have to change it, but also like if he like gets a haircut too, because the curls and the hair that stick out from the hat and everything that plays. It's magic. It does play. So don't say shit like that, Ron. You should be arrested for saying that.
I'm just putting terrible thoughts into your head. No, I love it. Andrew Chafin, it is. I'm going to go ahead with another bearded beauty. I'm going to go ahead with Jake the Snake. I think you know, if anybody caught it on the broadcast today, I know they said from a hitting perspective, but they mentioned the competitiveness amongst the rotation. Very similar to something we said we wanted to see with guys like when John Lester and John Lackey and they were here. Now it seems like that's returned a little bit. So I think Jake's going to want to come out. He's going to want to throw a really good game, even if he only goes maybe 5, maybe 6 innings. But if he comes out, zero runs, maybe 1 run, only a couple walks, a decent amount of strikeouts. I know he's not the same strikeout pitcher he used to be, but if they have a lead when he comes out of the game, I think that's a pretty effective day for Jake. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Jake the Snake for my Fly the W player.
I like it. I will say this, and I know it's really not comparable, but 2015, John Lester started opening day. Then they had an off in which they lost the Cardinals 3-1. Everyone kind of freaked out because everyone was expecting a little bit from not really. I don't think anyone really freaked out, but people were disappointed. They lost the Cardinals on Sunday Night Baseball. Whatever. And John Lester was not very great in his Cubs debut. Whatever.
Yep.
Had an off day. Jake Arrieta pitched the next game of series. Came out, got the Cubs a W. That's all I'm saying. Not saying it's
history,
not the same
history
vibe,
can
but
repeat. Hey, history can repeat itself.
I think that was the last time he was the number 2 starter in the Cubs rotation. So, because I'm pretty sure he's the number 1 starter in 16, and then in 17, I would say he was the 1 starter as well. Maybe I don't know. We have to go back and look, but just a thought. Just a thought.
There, yeah. It's a good thought. It's a good thought. And I think it's a thought that's worth ending on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed our live stream. If you were watching with us, if you're listening on the podcast, when this does become available as a podcast, we hope you enjoyed the show as well. Make sure to follow us on. First off, we are the official podcast of the On Tap Sports Network for Cubs. You can find all of our great content over at www.ontapsportsnet.com and at OnTapSportsNet on social media. That's across all platforms. You can also find us here at Cubs on Tap, at Cubbies on Tap. That's both Twitter and Instagram. Cody is at Cody on Tap. I am at Loose on Tap, which is my last name. At Ron on Tap was stolen already. That damn bastard, whoever has it, I'm very upset, but whatever. Make sure you get all of your great Cubs content with us all season long. We'll be doing these after every single game. There might be a couple slip-ups. Things happen. Life happens. But we're going to try and come to you after every single game. And some group of us here at Cubs on Tap will be talking about the Cubs game that happened that day. So from myself, Ron Luce, from Cody Del Mendo. Cody, I say we get out of here the only way we know how to, man. Let's go Cubbies.
Let's go Cubs.